this will be the first module on the chain rule, which tends to be kind of one of the first pain points in calculus. So we'll do several modules on the chain rule to increment students up. But they'll all be of the form f of x is equal to, and you put some function on, I guess, as kind of the inside and some function on the outside with respect to that function. So, it could be something like a polynomial. So 3x to the ninth power, put a high exponent there, minus 2x to the third. And maybe we raise that. It could be to a negative exponent, or it could be a whatever we want. Let's say we raise that to the sixth power. And so we could say f prime of x is equal to, and I'm going to write it in common words. In the video, I go into more detail about the intuition behind it, but I really just want to allow students to mechanically do these, because the chain rule, it takes a little bit of kind of thinking about the problem right. So it's equal to derivative of 3x to the ninth minus 2x to the third to the sixth with respect to 3x to the ninth minus 2x to the third to the sixth with respect to, I should write, with respect to 3x to the ninth minus 2x to the third times, and we could write a multiple, we could write times the derivative of 3x to the ninth minus 2x to the third with respect to x. So we could write, and then the next hint, we could say the derivative, we could even copy all of this. Well, derivative of 3x to the ninth minus 2x to the third to the sixth with respect to 3x to the ninth minus 2x to the third is, and you view this as an x right here. It is 6 times 3x to the ninth minus 2x to the third to the fifth. So hopefully they see that we're just taking this as like, you just view this almost as an x. And then maybe on the same hint, we write that the derivative of 3x to the ninth minus 2x to the third is what is it? 27x to the eighth minus 6x squared. And then finally, so f prime of x is equal to 6 times 3x to the ninth minus 3x to the third to the fifth times 27x to the eighth minus 6x squared. And once again, put a bunch of incorrect choices that will confuse people. And if this confuses, maybe we could write this, and depending on your taste, you could write this as derivative of the outside with respect to the inside. But this is more exact. Derivative of this thing with respect to this. Derivative of the inside with respect to x. So that makes it very clear about what we're doing. And so other examples, we know sine, cosine, we know all of e to the x. We're not going to test the product rule with the chain rule just yet. That might confuse people. But other examples we might do are, so in general, we only want 2 levels of the chain rule at this point. So you might do something like, I don't know. We could do something like y is equal to sine of cosine of x. And there, once again, the first hint is derivative of sine of cosine of x with respect to cosine of x is cosine of cosine of x. And if you want to color code it, it might make it useful. So you write cosine of x there, write cosine of x, cosine of x. And then we can write the derivative, the next hint, derivative, or it could all be one hint depending on your tastes, derivative of cosine of x with respect to x. And once again, we could color code that. Cosine of x with respect to x is negative sine of x. Oh, and the first, Well, actually, this is a better place to start. What's the derivative of the outside with respect to the inside? What's the derivative of the inside? And then, actually, so this is better than the way I did it in the last time. Then we could say, by the chain rule, by chain rule, the derivative of y with respect to x is equal to, we could write the derivative, we could write this with respect to cosine of x. So let me put a parentheses, is equal to the derivative is equal to that. Hopefully that's fairly readable as long as you get the point. Times this thing here with respect to x, times the derivative of cosine of x with respect to x. And there'll be a video here in case it is confusing to people. Sometimes just the text is just with respect to x, and of course it'll be more readable when. And so it's this thing which is equal to, and we could just copy and paste this, which is equal to that thing. Edit copy, edit paste. It's equal to that times this times negative sine of x. And if we want, we could make this blue. Oh, that was a different color of blue. We could make that blue. So in general, you're going to take the product of two things, and we could have taken sine of x squared, the derivative of sine of x squared. We could have taken derivative. So just make one function inside of another, however you want to implement it. And I think when people can get 10 in a row of this, they'll know at least the basics of the chain rule reasonably well. And there's all sorts of functions just to make sure we're all on the same page. We could do stuff like other example type problems here, and would be things like f of x is equal to, could be e to the natural log of x. That would be 1. Obviously, the answer here is e is 1 over x e to the natural log of x. It could be things like, I don't know, sine of x to the third. Derivative here is 3x squared times cosine of x to the third. I want to be careful there. We could do things like, we could go on and on and on. We could do sine squared of x. The derivative here is 2 sine of x cosine of x. So we could keep going on and on, but we only want one level of the chain rule happening every time we do this.